Yep, we're working on air conditioning on Red 66 today, just in time for fall where we really, really need it. Hey everyone, welcome back. Well, one of the things I'd always wanted to do with my car was to put air conditioning in it and really option out as much as I could that was available for these cars for this year's. And when I was putting it together, I did the evaporator box, did the firewall, got that all set. I have all the correct components for the factory AC for the interior. That's all done. I had the evaporator sent out, so it was cleaned, tested, leak-free, ready to go. So all I got to do, is finish the under the engine stuff. So got all the controls are good. They're tested. The vents are in. You can see underneath there. All the evaporator box under there, the heater, all the vacuum controls function. Everything is good. So what's left to do? Well, what I've been working on is getting the brackets completed for mounting the AC compressor. Those are done, almost done. They're mocked up as good as they're going to be. I'm about ready to do a first test to make sure the belt's going to stay on. But what we're going to work on a little later on is getting the condenser in, the hoses, and all that tidied up. Now I went and ordered one of those do-it-yourself kits from those places online, and not the place you think of, not that place either, different place. Cold Hose is where I got this stuff from. It's a lot more than just those pre-made kits from the other places, a little cheaper, and by no means is this video sponsored by them. This is just helping you folks out where I got the stuff. Comes with a bunch of fittings. Now I bought an extra one because I wanted an extra deal there. I bought a couple of adapters because I have different fittings on my compressor, and it's yet to be seen if I have enough room. We'll find out. Extra crimping ferrules. We'll get to that in a minute. Got a pressure switch that's got to go into the dryer here. We've got to mount the dryer. Got our hose. I got an offset heater hose fitting because I might have to change it in the water pump, that one heater hose, because it's a little tight. Got some of our older original factory AC components. We're going to look at these in a minute. Brand new condenser, and thanks to my good buddy Rick, a used condenser that he was told leaks and he has no use for, but I do, because we need the brackets to put on this. That's the other thing we're going to do. We're going to cut these brackets off, figure out where we're going to mount them on this, get this situated. That way we can start getting the lines figured out, coming up and out over here. Because they're going to have to come up over here, come out, find the dryer somewhere, run along here, and to the back firewall, and obviously to the compressor, which I had bought this years ago as a mock-up. It was chrome, and now I know why they were probably getting rid of it cheap. It has these flared fittings on it, not O-ring fittings. I'm guessing it works. I don't know. We're going to find out the hard way. I did test the clutch. Clutch on it works. And that's why I bought the adapters, so we can get it set up and hopefully have clearance from there to the hood and not be banging and rubbing around. But we'll find that out. So I did finish up all the brackets. They're tight. I think we're going to try and fire this up and see if the belt stays on. Clearance here is tight, but good. Everything here looks good. So let's fire this up. That looks pretty good. Ooh, squeaking! Oh, I'm pleased. But we need to tension that a little more anyway. Nah, I'm happy about that. We're good to go. One of the things I want to try and do is I want to reuse some of these original factory lines because, and I'm pretty sure that the thermal expansion valve is good. It's fine. So we're going to clean all this up, make it look nice. We're going to take these lines because this one goes into the evaporator and comes down along the fender well. This end goes in here and clips in here somewhere, and the other end of this will clip in like over here onto the heater shutoff vacuum switch. Now it should clip in here. I've got the vacuum lines running there right now, but we'll put that in there. So once we get these ones sorted out, then we can start, running the rest of the lines down, figure out where we're gonna put the dryer and then the condenser. So with these, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut these off, and that's why I got the extra ferrules, so we can crimp the new hose onto the old physical line with these. So let's get the slicing and dicing. Okay, so I am taking my time because I really don't want to cut through, through the tube itself. Just want to remove this crimping ferrule, and they're designed differently, and I'm trying to not really go deeper than the cuts already had. So, and I'll tell you one thing: these aren't aluminum; they're steel. Steel. So it's a little harder to rip this stuff apart being, real metal. But I want to take my time because I want to save this. This is a pretty important part of the system. Otherwise I'd have to use a fitting and hose, and I really don't want to do that. I want to retain this off the firewall. Okay. So now maybe just grind the rest of it off so it's nice and smooth. I'm just going to finish dressing this up with a file so I can get a nice smooth finish on here. So it looks like there's still kind of like a piece of that ferrule stuck in there. Now that I got that cleaned up enough, I was going to test fit the hose and the ferrule on here, and well, they didn't use AN sizes, I don't think, back in 65, 66, 67, because there's a slight diameter mismatch there. Yeah, this, I don't know. Yeah, this is an AN 10, which is intended for this. Well, you can tell it says size 10 right there. This fits right on without a problem. This fits right on that without a problem. So what does that mean? It means I got a problem. I might not be able to use this hose like I thought I would. That one went a lot smoother than the first one. Popped right off, life is good. Ferrule fits on just like it's supposed to, and so does the hose. So does the hose. There. That's going to be great. I'm going to clean this all up. I'm going to clean up the elbow that goes to on this end, at the other end, this end here, and we can crimp this end on. Got those pipes all cleaned up. Went ahead and finished cleaning up the big one too in anticipation of more parts coming. But I wanted to show you guys how this kind of mocks up. Some of you have a factory AC car, some of you don't. But that's why I want to reuse these original pipes, because the expansion valve has these two capillary tubes. One fits into this small tube that goes into the large one, and it senses the temperature as it's coming out. And this one, I'm not sure. I think it delivers, you know, obviously there's going to be R134A coming out. It needs to be sealed up with an O-ring, but oil back to the expansion valve. So that's why it's important to keep these pipes if we can. I think we can make it work. I mean, it may not be looking 100% factory, but I mean, neither does an aftermarket style compressor. So to crimp these down, I mean, I asked my local parts store if they could crimp AC lines, and they said no, they can do hydraulic lines, which I guess is much different. So I picked up this tool on the eBay for 50 bucks. It was brand new. It's great. I mean, it comes with, you know, the dies for 6, 8, 10, and 12. So we can go all the way up to 12 if we need to. So I'm just, first time I'm doing this, so I'm just going to kind of put the hose in all the way. All the way. Okay. And it's nice, the ferrules that I bought have a little hole in them, so you can see, make sure you did get it in, indeed, all the way. So let's put this in. Like so. Make sure we're jammed all the way on as far as possible. Okay. Let's tighten this down a little bit here. 6. Or is this an 8? This is, it says size 6 on the hose. So, yeah, see? Size 6. So, I think that's going to be good. Let's crimpify. Okay. Looks all right. Doesn't want to twist or turn, or does it? Oh, it does. I don't know about that. It does want to turn. You know what? It's not crimped evenly all the way around. Well, what do you expect for a $50 tool? All right, let's move it around and crimp it in a different position. I guess we'll find out. It doesn't want to move in or out. It just twists on itself. So I guess, I mean, it has those grooves on the inside of this. So I'm guessing it's tight on there. just didn't really crimp tight all the way around like I expected. Well, it took a few minutes before I quit yesterday to check to see if the fittings were going to hit the hood with the compressor in the original orientation, and yes, they hit the hood. Fortunately, after a little checking, and I kind of knew this already, but I wanted to double, triple check, a Sandon style compressor can be mounted with this ports on the side. So that's not a big deal. So that gives me all the clearance I need, not a problem, life is good there. What it does give me is just a little bit more agita because where is it? This is the fitting I have for this side, and it goes only in a few specific directions back toward that way, which would connect here where I need the adapter, right? This is a size 12, these are size 10. I need a number 10 to number 12 adapter and a piece of hose, and then I can continue on. So this is going to be too close to get me that. So I figure if I purchase a 45 to come off the compressor with the service port, this will give me an angle where I can come around, loop it, and then come back here with my splice in, and that'll be fine. So that's good. Don't have to get a new compressor. At worst case, I'd have to get maybe like a new back end with the other fittings on it, but these will be fine. Now, to come off the other side of the compressor, going back to the top of the condenser, well, the 90-degree will work fine, and I think I'm going to put it right here. It gives me plenty of clearance to connect the service equipment to that port, and I can still get the valve cover off if I need to. I'll have to get like a bracket to hold the heater hose up out of the way, put this here. Maybe this comes through between the two. That I'm not sure yet. Maybe I need to lengthen this, move this way. There's room to work, but I think that's where it's going to be. Now, coming through here from where the receiver dryer is going to be to the condenser, the problem is that this hose, like on the factory units, you had hard lines that would come through here and the hood would come down, and that's great, but those are much thinner than this hose. So now what do I do? All right, I think I'm going to try something here to get this line from the condenser up to the compressor. The original line that did that, because the connection was over on this side, this was the hose used, and it would come through here with the hard piece and fit just nicely, right? So that bend right there, well, it's going to be different because now I have to make it the other side. So what I'm going to try and do is, coming off of the condenser here, I'm going to heat this up and try and bend it around without breaking the elbow at all. So I'll cut this off, pull the hose out, heat this up, and try and carefully bend it 180 so it's going the other direction. And we should be able to put that here, and it'll come over and we'll be good. We take this off of here into the receiver dryer. So I'm going to work on this next. I managed to get it bent in the right orientation, but I don't know. It's got a bit of a kink on the inside now. I don't know if that's too much. It's going to cause a restriction. At least I got it kind of going in the right direction. Maybe I can work with it. We'll see. I'm a little worried about that kink on the inside. It might be a problem. Well, I'm going to have to get piece of pipe about a foot long, the right size, so I can pull from that discharge side of the compressor into the top of the condenser. So I have to get that part to come. What I'm working on here now is, this is the old dryer, and some line came off of it. What I'm thinking is, now this thing was put together, repaired with an inline coupler. I'm guessing this is just enough pressure where that worked just fine. But what I'm thinking is taking this part here, and I can put it into the new dryer like that. Okay. And if I can get this part here, this is going to come off, obviously, that nut. I might leave the ferrule on. If I can get this to bend 90 degrees right here, I can come out of the dryer, go over the radiator support, and put a hose on here to go to the bottom of the condenser. So this is what I'm thinking here. Dryer is going to go here. I got a little adjustability up or down, which is good. This will come over. I can clamp it down here. The hood will close without a problem. I just got to get this to go 90 degrees. Okay. Let's give this a try, shall we? Okay, I think that might just do it. All right, let's see if this is going to fit. Dryer here, bracket kind of where it's going to go, which is still a little arbitrary. That's going to do what I need it to do. I think we're going to be okay with that. This way. Yeah, as long as I can get fitting on this end, if I get a hose on here clamped on, it should be fine. If I can keep this ferrule on here and put, crimp it down, then I think we'll be all right. This will clamp down nicely. All right, one piece of the puzzle solved. Well, another day here in the shop, and had a few more parts come in, so we can continue on this whole fun little process we got going on here. Let me show you some of the solutions I come up with for getting this hose from the big one here up to here. I thought I was going to do adapters and stuff. Well, after looking on the company's website, come up with a different solution. So what I ended up doing was I ordered the correct size hose, size 12, that'll fit onto this pipe back here. It'll go right on, just like it's supposed to. Happiness and abundance, right? So now what do I do for up here? Well, I ended up buying different service fitting. So it's size 12 here, and then the regular size 10 there. So this will go to that hose and onto the compressor just like that. That's going to take care of that nicely. So to address this abomination, I went ahead and bought a tube. It's got a fitting on both ends, got a male on this end and a female on this end. This end will go right into the condenser. This end will go into fitting. That'll go into the hose. That'll finish off going to the compressor. I just have to figure out how to bend that. It's aluminum, which should bend easily. However, I don't have a die for my tubing bender that goes up that big. go up to 3/8, and it really doesn't fit in too well. So I got to think about that first. Before I do this, I want to get the condenser mounted so I can get an exact location of where these bends are going to go, to mimic this, because I may want this section to be longer where it's going to turn in. So that's got to get done before we go bending this. Now on the short tube, last what you saw was I was planning on leaving that ferrule on here, but I took it off and decided I was going to use a file and put grooves into that, just like the other ones have. So when I go to crimp this on, it's got something to pull into. So the hose goes right on here. I got a new ferrule for that. We'll crimp this up. Let's see if we can't get this to crimp pretty much. Oh, so we can't get it to crimp better than the other one. How's that? Ouch! My toe! All right. That's good. It's not spinning. Good. All right. Well, that one's done. What's next? Get off there. There we go. Oh, that's tight. Well, we got everything kind of connected for a good mock-up. Got our big tube in, the hose on, got the expansion valve in place, the other tube on, everything's looking good. Now for the big one here, with this service fitting, I may just do just like this, kind of like right there. Makes a little bit of a sense. I don't think it's gonna be a problem. It's just gonna be, tight here. It's gonna be tight back there. I think it'll be fine. Okay. So then continuing on here, we got this line. We just put that hose on. It's going to go down to where the condenser is. We've got our dryer. And this one here is probably going to clamp onto the fender well there. And we'll just have to cut that, put this fitting on, and crimp it. But first, I need to mount the dryer, put the bracket on. So let's get that done. Then we can finish this hose. We'll finish this hose. That'll be done. And then we got to take the front end off so we can get to the condenser area. Got the dryer mounted. It's not tight. It's just kind of mocked up. I have to drill the bottom hole and get it bolted in. Got a top bolt on. This is going to be perfect right here. A little bit of room there. Close the hood. Good clearance. So let's see. We'll give this one a little bit of room so we can move it around some. I'll go back here. All right, that looks good right there. All right, let's get this crimped on. Line's all set. Good, good, good. And right here. Go. Yeah, plenty of room, a little slack here. Life is good. These lines are done. Crimped on all the way to the compressor. This one all the way to the dryer. This line coming down, going to the condenser. All that's left is this line, bending this thing, and then mounting the condenser down in there. Phew, yeah, that's all we got left. Well, I'm going to be honest with you all. I wasn't sure how I was going to bend this pipe. Um, I don't have anything like this that's got the right size die for it. And looking online, there's various other benders like a spring bender, um, but wasn't going to be able to get it over the fittings, right? So I just started pushing on it. It's like, wow, it bends pretty easily. So that's good. I got it bent probably about where I need it to go to come from the condenser up. Now I got to get it to go this way just a little bit. And I think I might have it. It just needs one more bend and it'll be in the engine bay. So let me show you what I've worked up here. So I got a screw into the top of my workbench. It's an old pulley, probably off the wife's car. I think it's a whatever pulley. But gotta go this way. I'm thinking I can just start tweaking it a little bit at a time. I might get it to go. Oh, starting to flatten out, not liking it at all. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. Going to get flat. Try something else. Well, this is what I come up with. Kind of got it, in a sense, going in the right direction. This tubing is so big, I really couldn't bend a tight radius, but I was able to manipulate it enough without too much of a kink. I don't know, can you guys see that? It's not great, but I think it's going to work. So this is going to go like this into the condenser. I'm down here right about there. Yeah, like right about there. And I think this hose is going to come in straight. And I could come this way and try and put the 90-degree on here, have this loop around. I don't know, still undecided on that. So I gotta figure out that angle then, because I don't want this getting too close to the valve cover, that discharge port. I think I have a solution that will let me get the condenser mounted without taking the grill off the car. I'm taking the old condenser, mounted it to a piece of plywood, so that way I can cut the brackets off. They'll stay in their position, and then I can fine tune it for the new condenser. So lay it on here. I'm gonna line up the top one approximately with where the original one was, right about there, which is 3¼ inches on center on the top of this bracket, right about there. So that's going to give me just what I need. Yeah, this is, the original one's bigger, new one's smaller, but the new one's going to be a lot more efficient. Tubes are smaller than these huge tubes coming through, so I think this is going to be just fine. So I'm going to slice these off, then we'll measure up between here and here, fine tune it, and get these drilled to mount in here. Made the brackets, got it all set, and I took out the latch, the lever, and this radiator support brace. Took that all out. So I got a nice straight shot to put that condenser in. And then I realized that these brackets stick out quite a ways. which isn't a big deal up top. Or if it was on a 65 or 64, like the condenser came out of, because the grill on a 66 angles in at the bottom. And you see that bolt right there for the grill? That one right there, this one, and probably that one there too. Trying to get it in carefully. Yeah, we did a little bit of a boo-boo right there. Well, where are we at now? Well, I took one of the other brackets off, and these are aluminum. Bent them slightly, and I'm not liking the fracturing in the bends, but this is about the right distance versus this one. So I'm going to make 4 brackets, a little bit of this stuff, about 1.5 inches wide, easier to bend. It's steel. We'll drill the holes, we'll make them square, we'll take these captive nuts out, pop them in, and we'll mount the condenser with those. Oh, I've got the brackets done finally. And they look pretty good. They need to be painted and whatnot, but for now, this is what we're going to go with for a test fitting. So let's put this in the car, see what kind of room we got. All right, nice and easy. Oh, it's almost like I measured it, you know, like for a change. Oh, that's great. Let me get you guys in here close. See down there? You can't see down there, can you? Yeah, you can. All right, that's up tight against the radiator support. And we got plenty of room between those lower grill bolts and the condenser now. So now we know it's going to go in. We're not going to rub it up against anything we shouldn't be rubbing up against. I've got to drain the coolant so I can push the radiator back and get the bolts in and continue. All this just to test fit it. Yay! Time to make a mess. Got the brackets all done, bolted onto the condenser. Life is good. Gave it a quick shot of some radiator black, and now we're ready to put it in. So I got the radiator loose, got just enough room where I can probably sneak the bolts into where they got to go. So let's get this thing installed. Well, that was pretty uneventful. I don't know how fast this was after I sped the video up for you, but it took about 45 minutes to get that thing really bolted in, get the radiator rebolted down too. So it's in, it's good. Now, yes, the fitting way down there, I did put an O-ring on it and tighten it up. I spent a little time getting this pipe tweaked a little bit so that it flips over just enough over the radiator support where I can get it into the engine bay. The dryer, well, I put the safety switch on. I didn't like the bracket. It was flimsy. It didn't tighten up enough. I had another one, so I had a piece of plate, and I just made another one. So it's much sturdier. And put a little piece of foam there to protect the paint in there. So this is good. It sits up a little higher than I originally thought, but that's okay. This is all good. And now I can put this on and put this in here. This is going to come straight over here, just like that. And you may have noticed that I've got all the brackets in, polished up the compressor, nice. Everything's done, reconfigured, bolted in, painted. I do have to get a different belt. This one's too short, just barely fits. So something a little bit longer. And I got a little room to work with my adjuster here. This bolt for the pulley, a little long. It came with a big spacer, took it out, so I'll be trimming that off. My tension bolt, the tightener, I gotta trim it off in there a little bit. It's not hitting. I've already run the car, but it can be shorter. So let me get the hose done. Let me do some detail work on the other hoses, get everything installed out here, and then we can think about actually testing, pulling a vacuum on the system, make sure it's sealed. Now I got to get some oil to go in the system first, make sure I get enough in the compressor before I really bolt it down tight. And we're almost ready for some refrigerant. Well, it's not every day you do an oil change on your AC compressor, but there's a very good reason why I'm draining it out right now. And the reason for that is I don't know where this AC compressor came from. I got it on eBay many years ago, and I don't know if it was intended for a replacement for a vehicle, for a car that already had air conditioning in it, or if it had been given enough oil for a dry system. Because there is a difference, right? You get an AC compressor for your daily driver, it's already had oil in it, it's circulated through the system, but it's kind of settled in some of the lower areas, the condenser, the dryer, and whatnot. I need to drain it all out and put in enough oil for a dry system. Since this is all brand new stuff in here, new condenser, new evaporator, everything, I got to get enough oil in there so it can circulate through and it won't burn up the compressor. So we have to drain it. We don't really need to measure it because I know how much to put back in. Did a little mathifying here. So I know that this is a Sandin style SD508, and it needs, for a dry system, about 4.8 ounces of oil. So got ourselves a bottle of oil. It's got 8 fluid ounces, so we'll put almost half, a little more than half of that in there. We'll know this will be good to go. And yes, it's got the dye because I just know there'll be a leak. Hope not. All right, let's fill this thing up. Well, about a little more than half of this bottle. Take a little while here. See if I put air in. Take this off. Is that'll work? Yeah, maybe not. You can tell that the oil is greenish. It's got a tint to it. It's got a dye in it. It glows in the dark under a UV light. So if there's any leaks, I'll be able to find them pretty easily. But we're gonna try and not have any leaks. That's the goal here. So with the AC compressor bolted back where it's supposed to be, take a little time here. I'm going to get the lines lined back up, get the O-rings out, match them up to the ends, put them on. A little oil on each one of the O-rings to coat it so it seals up nice. And once I get them all kind of temporarily, finger tight in place. We'll go around, grab the wrenches, tighten everything up, make sure everything's lined up how I want it to be. So I picked up a manifold gauge set and a vacuum pump as a kit off eBay because I figured it was 85 bucks, and knowing what the amount of labor would be at an auto shop to do this work for me, to do an evacuation of the system, I figured, 85 bucks, it's an hour's worth of labor. And if something's leaking and I got to go back, it's another $85 there, plus, refrigerant and time to do all that stuff and testing. That's money well spent as far as I'm concerned. So we're going to pull a vacuum, see if it holds, and then we can pop some refrigerant in it. Well, that didn't last very long. Didn't hold a vacuum. So now what? I don't want to dump refrigerant into it. So I found a guy online and had a quick tip. I got, with this whole kit, a couple of these can taps. And it's just got this would go onto your vacuum side. Right here. Right? And then jam on fitting for your air compressor, set it up for this very low PSI, put some air to it, and then you listen for any leaks. As it turns out, that plug back here on the back of the compressor, yeah, that was leaking. So took that out, put a little sealant on the threads, put it back in, and retested with the pressure, no more leak. So then put vacuum, and it looks like we're holding the vacuum. So now I'm gonna do a 30-minute evacuation of the system, pull a good vacuum, and while it's doing that, I'm gonna put the alternator back on, a few other things. We'll be ready for refrigerant. Well, pull the vacuum, it's been holding. I did some extra wiring because I hadn't really gotten the wire from the bulkhead connector out to the compressor yet. So I ran some temporary wiring through the pressure switch, tested everything, make sure I had 12 volts to the pressure switch. So we're about ready to finally put some cool refrigerant in this thing. Now, doing some of the math based on the factory AC system, it should take about 36 ounces of 134A, but that's based on the bigger factory compressor and the larger condenser unit. So it may take less than that. I've got 3 12-ounce cans. We'll see how it goes. It's supposed to charge up to about 50 psi. So we're going to put in as much as we can and then fire it up. I've got everything all set. I've got my can tap on. Let's hope this $50 eBay stuff works. All right, we're still on the first can, and I had to do a little fiddling with the valve. Apparently, cranking it all the way down isn't all the way open. You got to back it off a little bit. So, it's a learning experience. But one little thing I did was put it in a little bucket of really hot water and help keep the pressure in the can up so it'll continue moving into the system. Well, if that can finish, we're almost to 50, but I know it's going to need more, obviously. But we're still trying to get some more refrigerant in the system. It's running. Right now, the compressor's not engaged. That's what the readings are. Right now, the compressor kicked on, power through the pressure switch. Compressor's running. And here's our readings on the gauge. Let's go check the thermometer. That's about 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Not too shabby. I mean, not bad since the ambient air temperature outside right now is about 50, 55. I'm going to call it a win. I got air conditioning in the fall. While it's running and still trying to put some coolant, some refrigerant into the system, I'm going to take my UV light and see if I can't find any leaks. Looking for that bright green color, and I'm not seeing anything, which is a good thing. I was worried about this fitting here more than anything. A little more slack on my extension cord here. Oh, I'm looking good. Oh, maybe we got a little bit right there. See that? That's where I put a little sealant on that plug back there. A little bit seeping out there, it looks like. Well, I'm going to call this a 100% success story right here. That this is all going to work just fine. You got your modern compressor, modern condenser, modern AC receiver dryer with factory expansion valve and evaporator core. Now, one thing I do have to do yet, obviously, and I told you guys before, I haven't done it yet. I need a longer belt. I need to trim some of these bolts back. That's pretty straightforward. But I have to replace my hot water valve. You see the difference here. The one I had picked up years ago, much smaller diameter. I got the right one. I just need to clean it up, paint it, swap it out, and then I'll just kind of cut the hose, put one there, and I got a shorter piece to go back to the heater core. But that'll be for another day, because now when summer comes around next year, we'll be cool, which is the whole goal. I want to drive the car. On hot days, yeah, now I can drive the car. Well, I'm happy. It gets cold. It cycles. The temperature valve inside on the evaporator works. It senses the temperature difference, sends the signal out to the compressor through the pressure switch. That's working. Kicks the compressor on. Clutch works, and it gets cold as it's intended to. I love it. Oh, I'm so glad this all worked out. So I'll keep an eye on that back plug. If it needs more work, we'll have to figure that out, get the system evacuated again. But I've got the tools, and I've got the stuff I need to get it done myself. And probably saved a lot of money doing it myself, as opposed to, like I said, bringing it to a shop, have them evacuate the system, find a leak, I bring it home, make another appointment, rinse, repeat. 85 bucks for that toolkit, the pump and the manifold gauge set, money well spent. So that's where I'm going to leave this one, folks. Smash that like button if you like what we're doing here on the channel. Please consider subscribing, and I'll catch you next time.